Welcome to RevMD Sex Bites Sexual Wellness Podcast with me, your host, Dr. Deborah Durst, and my co-host,
Farideh, nurse practitioner here at RevitalyzeMD. And today we have a fun podcast, one we haven't done anything like this before.
No, I think we actually have, but the key is when we get to the point where we can't remember exactly what we talked about, then it's time to do another one.
Oh, well, and then there we go.
And plus there was a viral TikTok video recently that kind of prompted this one. And so then there's that too, right? That we'll always
That's what I meant. The TikTok thing. We've never incorporated viral videos to a podcast before. No, this is a topic we've talked a lot about.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I remember the becoming clitoris, instead of literate was good. So the clitoris is what we're going to talk about. If you haven't figured that one out by now, if we haven't said it.
We've definitely talked about the clitoris before. Just visit RevMD and look at any of our podcasts.
Yeah, we talk about it in all of them. We did do one that kind of focused in on a little bit with some fun facts, but we're going to do that again because there was a viral TikTok video. What was the lady's name again?
I believe it was Alice Williams.
And she was with Overa. Yeah, that's right. Because it's actually, I think, like a menstrual pain relief company.
She has lots of TikToks regarding menstrual pain, menstruation, uterine health, ovarian health, vaginal health, all kinds of stuff.
I don't know what the credentials are. We haven't looked at that. We haven't gone that far. But we do know that it got like 5 million views. So it was talking about the clitoris. But the important thing is again, one of those fear factors. And so kind of addressing it is the topic was, if you don't use your clit, that
you'll lose it forever.
It'll go away and never come back. That was the whole point. And so it was, people, it got a lot of views. But again, so we're here to just kind of talk whether that is like fact or fiction.
And of course, because of the kind of medicine we practice, it's come across our text messages from other people bringing it to our attention of, is this real? Is this not real? What do you think about this? 5.7 million views. You're going to get the attention of somebody.
You're going to hear about it for sure, especially when this is our area of medicine and specialty.
So, Dr. Durst, if I don't use it, am I going to lose it?
Well, there's nothing we can't regenerate, right?
That is always the truth, especially in our office.
Yes.
We've got lots of options.
So there is such a thing as clitoral atrophy. Atrophy means kind of it recedes and isn't functioning as well. So, we have atrophy of a lot of things as we get older, but there's some reasons, medical reasons for it. So if you have hormonal changes, such as even birth control, where you don't have a sex drive, you could potentially have some clitoral atrophy happen.
But it seems to be more common in our menopausal, postmenopausal women because we are losing estrogen.
Perimenopause, menopause is definitely one of those. As your hormones decline, your clitoral function and sensitivity does, and decreased orgasmic strength is definitely one of those. But what we want to point out before anything else, because if you don't use it, yes, potentially you could have atrophy or decreased function or sensitivity. But what we want to point out before anything else is it's gone and you're never going to get it back. So don't worry about it if you are going through a dry spell, you just had a baby, your sex drive isn't high, you're not having sex frequently, you're not stimulating the clitoris.
There are lots of things to worry about in this world. This is not one that you need to worry about being a forever gone.
No. So basically there is nothing that's going to make your clitoris just go hide forever. It doesn't happen. So there are things that we can do to regenerate it. But again, as we get older and we're going through perimenopause or menopause, then we're definitely going to have some decreased sensation of blood flow to the clitoris. And so it's not as active. And so then just starting to do some regenerative stuff yourself or medically can bring that back to full function. So no reason to fear that your clitoris is going away forever. So we want to make that clear at the beginning of this, right?
So true, kind of.
True, title true. Yes. So her title is just part of her story, but on the actual video, she says it's going away forever.
Like, oh, I missed that part. I was just watching, giggling.
No, never to come back. She said, gone for good, forever.
Not gone for good.
So false. So the whole video is definitely false. The part that you can actually have some decrease in function for a little while, true. So title true. And so again, that's that thing. Like it's like the clickbait, right? You know, title true, like
fear, always something to fear. I saw that as a comment on one of the women that had duetted. It was like always something to fear.
Always something, but this is definitely not one of them. So some clitoral facts again that we're going to go through, because the clitoris is way bigger and more complex and more important than we actually even think it is. And so while we're only seeing part of it, there is a lot bigger, you know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So basically the clitoris can be up to 4 centimeters long on average.
What we see is just that clitoral head. What we do not see is the legs of the clitoris.
Yes.
So those run down the sides of the labia behind the scenes, which we don't see. And that part also helps send nerve endings and signals up to the clitoral head to help with sensitivity and orgasm strength. But that's also what gets engorged and fills with blood when we have an orgasm.
So the more wavy part of the clitoris on the outside is the labia minora, then the majora. And so there's legs that come down in that majora. And again, on the sides of the vaginal wall. And so while, you know, up to 80% of women will say they've only had clitoral orgasms and not penetrative or penetration orgasms or G-spot, again, they're so closely related. It's kind of hard to say whether you're just having one without the other. But having said that, it's a common, like at least perception that they're not having inside or G-spot or penetration orgasm.
But when the clitoris gets engorged with blood during orgasms, it
or
does
arousal.
Or during arousal, exactly. That blood flow puts pressure on the anterior wall in the area of the G-spot.
Yes, yeah, this is so true, and I love hearing that. So arousal is important. So guys, you want to listen to this part.
And we did do a whole podcast on the arousal cycle.
We did. And I think that, like, for simplicity, again, for men, arousal is important. Arousal is blood flow. Arousal is lubrication. Arousal gets her ready. And so her orgasm is important, but for her to be aroused and ready, it has some foreplay has to be involved. You can't just go right to, you know, you being ready and having an erection and going right to inside. So you can see now that the clitoris has lots of things going on, lots of nerve fibers, and it needs to be aroused. It gets to be twice the size. And there's 8,000, I think you said even more, 8,000 nerve endings in the clitoris.
Yeah, I saw a study, but it was based on cows. But something from that study, it said that there may actually be as high as 10 to 11,000 nerve endings. But what we know traditionally studied is 8,000 for sure. So up to 11,000.
Guess what? That's twice the penis, just so you know. So just put in
Dr. Durst is always going to find those little buttons of we're women.
It's
get a little extra.
The penis. So like, again, women can fake orgasms, and they do. And you know they do. And so again, when Harry met Sally, if you don't believe it, and if you think that you are
the man,
they're all the man, and they're all coming just because they act or verbalize that they might be. Again, if you haven't touched the clitoris, there's probably a good chance they're not. And so you need to address it. It needs to be addressed. It needs attention, right? And it has twice the nerve endings. It does get to be twice the size. So if they're aroused, you're way closer. And so by the time you actually penetrate, then you're like very close already, the woman is, to orgasm. But again, it depends on the woman. It's more complex than that, but it does put pressure on the G-spot and help. So
it does. As it gets engorged with blood, it just increases that sensitivity. And all blood flow does is help with nerve endings. It helps with lubrication. It helps with the whole process.
It helps with everything. So again, it's not that I'm like one-sided. I'm like for both. No woman left behind, no man left behind. Everyone needs to be at the party, right?
And there are regenerative options out there like PRP injections for men and women, but since we're talking about clitoris, the OShot is one that we can do for regeneration. If you are starting to see some of that atrophy, one, looking at your hormones is always really important to see what's going on there. Is it an estrogen decrease? Is what's going on? Is it something functional that we can fix through
lasers and different lasers
or medications, or is it something where, you would benefit from an OShot to get that collagen and elastin built and improve those orgasm strength that way?
So there's all kinds of things. We're going to get more into, again, things maybe women can do at home to get more familiar with their sensitivity and their female sexual organs. But she had to go real serious for a minute, and I need to bring her back to like all these little fun facts, right? Because again, it keeps growing. Like the clitoris doesn't age and go away. That's one of the facts.
It's one part of our body that doesn't age.
It was discovered in the 1500s. So it's been around for a long time. We're just learning more about it. Twice the size of, or twice the nerve endings of, a penis with both of them. And then it's a lot bigger and more complex than we think. But also it's only for sexual function. So there is no other function for the clitoris in the entire body except for sexual function. So it's there for a reason. And it can increase not only with arousal, but even ovulation. So that's another one. So while women may be more turned on with ovulation and when they're actually kind of ready to, mate, then it gets larger. And I know, again, you loved the idea of this, that there's a flower that looks like the clitoris.
When we are doing research for these podcasts, you can only imagine hey, check out this flower.
Yeah, it looks like the vagina and the clitoris. So Alan will find that to put that up on, at least the YouTube version of our podcast. So yeah.
And we'll attach the TikTok video as well, so you can click on it. And the comments are pretty interesting as well as a lot of the duets that women have put together regarding use it or lose it forever.
And I think, again, they're just very similar. So in embryology, the penis and the clit are like equivalent. It's a female and male version. And so, again, it can get aroused and erect and all that and has orgasms. So they're both similar in that respect. And so it just a couple fun facts based on a very viral TikTok video that is in entirety not true.
If you have any questions, leave them below. If you've seen the TikTok video, if there's been a comment that you saw on there that you think is hilarious, please share. We always like a good laugh.
Yes. And hit like, subscribe, share.
The bell, all the things.
So again, let us know if there's anything else you want us to talk about, any viral videos that might have happened that you want us to answer.
If you want to know if they're true or not,
decrease the fear, all of that, because we are here to revitalize your look, your health, and your sex life. Thank you.